Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We have about 5 topics for this video, but you can actually compress them into about 3. We have the Middle East, we have Russia, Korea, and we have Donald Trump making, how should I call those? I don't want to call them stupid. I think just far-fetched statements. He makes some statements and claims that I think he will not be able to back up if he gets into the office. I'm not going to refer to these guys being elected to the office. They get in the office, okay? I'm not going to... actually, I will. The process of selection has been determined way before our elections of who's who, what's what. That's my personal gut feeling situation here, which is people were selected, were vetted, put in front of us to just confirm and support a system that gives us the option just to confirm their choices. So let's start with the first article, and this comes from CTV News. Some Canadian thing here, I guess. Iran's supreme leader threatens Israel, United States with a crushing response over Israeli attack. So you see, the Iranians are threatening us for them. Why is that? Well, remember, you will be dragged in a war for them. Let's read the article a little bit. Iran's supreme leader on Saturday threatened Israel and the United States with a crushing response and quote over attacks on Iran and its allies. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei spoke as Iranian officials are increasingly threatening to launch yet another strike against Israel after its October 26 attack on the Islamic Republic that targeted military bases and other locations that killed at least 5 people. And I'm going to read his exact words, obviously translated into English. The enemies, whether the Zionist regime or the United States of America. So these are the enemies. Yeah, you are Iran's enemies, right there. How do you feel about it? If you feel good because you think you're on the right side of history, good for you. Will definitely receive a crushing response to what they are doing to Iran and the Iranian nation and to the resistance front. So here you have it. We are their enemies. What did Iran do to the United States of America? History starts before 1952, 54. Okay, so if we think about 1952, 53, 54, then nothing. I don't remember anything that they did to us, but I know we did something to them first. You don't like that? Me neither, but there's historical evidence to support my claim. I don't think it's a claim anymore. I think it's just a fact. We, which is our services plus the British services, overthrew the Prime Minister of Iran, Mossadegh. Remember? He tried to nationalize his natural resources, and we did not allow him to do. We overthrew him and we took him out of office. And then what happened next, you know. So we were the first ones. And after Israel became more powerful in the United States of America, then we became the lapdog. Got that? So however you want to twist it, usually their history starts in 1979. The history that you, my Western friends, are taught starts in 1979. You know with what? I tell you, with Khomeini returned from Paris. So Khomeini, Ayatollah Khomeini, was located in Paris. Like, what's his name? Ulyanov. You know who Ulyanov is? Okay, he is Lenin. His real name is Ulyanov. So Mr. Ulyanov, the Russian Ulyanov, was in Switzerland, if I remember correctly. And then he was trained straight to St. Petersburg by the Germans during the First World War. During the war, he got his own train. The Germans put him on a train, sent him to Tsarist Russia, where a revolution occurred, conducted by the Russians, and they sent this guy to conduct his Bolshevik/communist revolution. Do you know where Trotsky was? Mr. Bronstein, that's his real name. He was at that time, when this guy was shipped towards St. Petersburg, he was in New York. What was he doing in New York? Money, 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 money. Right? So my friends, we did many hanky-pankies to other states. In this case, we have Iran. So it doesn't start with the Iranian Revolution in 1979 and with those embassy hostages. No. It starts in the 50s with Iran. All right? So who punched first? They did in our names. And now we are their enemies because we are supporting someone else in the area. How do you feel about it? Well, I don't think that's right. All right, let's go to the next article. Sputnik. United States, which is us, supposedly, ordered deployment of missile defense destroyers, strike bombers to Mideast. Why? Well, I think to talk to these guys, right? What do you think? Again, this is done in our name. In our name. So don't you think that the Iranians could do some hanky-panky in the North American continent? I think they could, and I think they would. So we're going to be the victims eventually of our elected officials and the bureaucrats' decisions to aid our ally. All right. I think we are doing something very bad for our interests, but we are not independent. That's my opinion, not assessment, opinion as a free person. The United States has ordered the deployment of additional missile defense destroyers, fighter jets, and strike bombers to the Middle East. Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder announced on Friday. And I'm quoting, in keeping with our commitments to the protection of U.S. citizens and forces in the Middle East, the defense of Israel, you should have started with that one, how about that one, and de-escalation through deterrence and diplomacy, the Secretary of Defense ordered the deployment of additional ballistic missile defense destroyers, fighter squadrons, and tanker aircraft, and several U.S. Air Force B-52 long-range strike bombers to the region. This deployment built on the recent decision to deploy the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense (THAAD) missile defense system to Israel, as well as DoD's Sustained Amphibious Ready Group Marine Expeditionary Unit posture, we're just posturing in the Eastern Mediterranean. These movements demonstrate the flexible nature of the U.S. global defense. We have only defense posture and U.S. capability to deploy worldwide on short notice to meet evolving national security threats. So see, we claim national security threat. So we are the victims. We are the victims. Have you ever seen the bully in the schoolyard being the victim? So he's the victim. He has to punch everybody and take everybody's lunch boxes because he's the victim. He has threats. He has threats from the little guys. My friends, don't be babooned by these guys. Life is still the same, functions by the same rules. If I drop this, it's not going to go up, it's going to go down. We function by the same rules as you see in the parking lot. The parking lot is the same, or the schoolyard is the same as in the world community. You have a few tough guys with little groups, gangs. That's what it is. So United States doesn't have national security threats in the Middle East. Because you are there, you're not supposed to be there if you don't have an imperialistic worldview. Oh, I forgot the Russians have that one. But we have almost 1,000, it's about 740 military deployments all around the world. How many do the Russians have? 4? But hey, they are the imperialistic. He's just another guy, another thug in the parking lot. That's all. But the bigger guy doesn't allow anybody else to form his own group. Too late. So here we go. We became the enemy, and what do? We're going to get in a war not only with Iran, probably with Russia and China as well. Good job. Go and vote. All right, let's see what the Israelis want. And the Israelis supposedly want Russia to mediate peace. The Jewish state, that's a given, you have to give that like that, but hey, they're multicultural, right? Like we are. State reportedly believes that Moscow's participation in negotiations would add stability to any future deal. While these guys do this, right? All right? You believe that? I tell you what's going on. I tell you exactly what's going on. With small variations, details. The Jewish state would do whatever it wants in the Middle East. Nobody, I'm talking about the big stance, will do anything against them. Iran will play a little bit here like that. This guy's going to play like this. Hezbollah will do this. Hamas will do this. But overall, Israel will do everything it wants to do and will fulfill its goals. Now, the goal is Iran. Israel will not take on Iran. It's going to be the bully boy. United States of America, you and I, we're going to take on Iran. And now they pretend they're going to get Russia in. This is just a blah, 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 blah. This is how I'm going to give you a little analogy. You have a rapist over there, okay? And the guy goes over there and commits the crime. And everybody around is like, oh my God, it's awful. But you have one bully boy who comes over, I'm going to fuck you up. Are you ready? No, but I want to stop. But in the meantime, I want to stop. Are you ready? Hey, don't do that. Come on now. It's like, Jesus Christ. Hey, nobody moves. And after that guy is going to zip up his zipper and is going to come and say, oh, that was good, man. Yeah? The bully boy say, okay, now stop. But in the meantime, this guy is going to say, while he's doing it, hey, Russia, why don't you come here and maybe we can discuss things. Only after the guy, the criminal, is going to zip up its pants, turn around to the world, the bully boy is going to be like, okay, now, let's talk about peace. Russia is going to be invited as a extra appendix, nothing. Just be over there like, oh, we are negotiating. Nothing. I said this from the very beginning of this garbage in the 7th of October. Nothing will come out of it until the guy zips up its pants. Then you will have something. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Patience, my friends. So, yeah, in the meantime, we can get in a war with these guys. Let's see what the other guys are doing, which are the Russians. And the Russians are, Russia and North Korea committed to implement comprehensive strategic partnership treaty. While we are helping our allies, the Russians are making their allies. Got it? Got it. Good. I like diversity. I like when we have more options to pick from. I don't like monopoly unless I am in charge of it. All right? Don't you like that? I mean, we all want to be tyrants. It's just that we pretend. All right, so they are doing in what? In defense. The Russian and North Korean foreign ministers have confirmed their commitment to fully implement the provisions of an agreement on a comprehensive strategic partnership. You know what it is? That means if these guys want to, come to each other's rescue militarily, they can do. That's an obligation under their little partnership. Both sides reaffirmed their firm commitment to fully implement the provisions of the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Agreement, which consolidated the reaching of traditionally friendly Russian-Korean relations to a new qualitative level, the Russian Foreign Ministry said. Got it? So that means this. If this is the important thing in this strategic partnership, if they signed, they agreed, if one of these countries gets attacked by someone, the other one has the obligation under this treaty to come and help. So if NATO attacked Russia in Kursk, North Korea has an obligation under the treaty to bring troops and fight the invaders. Where is the misunderstanding? On the other hand, Ukraine doesn't have the same agreement with the guys that have been sponsoring and pushing it against Russia. So, what's going on here? Right. Doesn't mean they don't make the partnership in the future. If Ukraine is to become or remain a country, which I don't think is going to be a country, it's going to be a non-country. Next one. Well, in the meantime, the North Koreans are building the biggest, the strongest missile in the world. North Korea boasts of the world's strongest missile, but experts say it's too big to use in war. I read the article, this is what they say. Usually an ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, is about, American and Russian, about 20 meter long. 20 meter multiplied by, I don't know, 3, you're going to find out in feet. Now this one, the North Korean, is about 28 meters. So let's say 1/3 longer than the other two. And these guys say here that it's hard to maneuver and easy to target. That's the argument. I mean, between 20 meters and 28 meters, I don't think those 8 meters are going to be like, so, my God, now we see it from the satellite. I mean, they see this from the satellite if they want. You think that those 8 meters make a difference? I don't think so. Nevertheless, the problem is only we build good stuff and everybody else builds crappy stuff. Do you believe that? Of course not. So this is the whole point. Oh no, it can't hit our territory. This is the whole thing. North Koreans can hit the United States of America or Canada if they want with nuclear weapons. Why? Because our diplomacy, they worked just fine. So yeah, they have it. What can you do? You're gonna behave. That's what you're gonna do. Now Iran, if Iran would have a nuclear weapon, I guarantee you that these baboons will be a little bit more decent than they are right now. Well, let's see what Mr. Medvedev has to say, because Mr. Medvedev is a hot sauce. West underestimating Moscow on nukes, Medvedev said. What does that tell you? That he's gonna use the nukes. Western leaders do not fully appreciate Russia's readiness to deploy nuclear weapons to protect itself. And I'm quoting Medvedev. It's always fantastic to quote this guy because he's not only funny, he's direct. Okay, I like your shoes, but you didn't match them with the socks. Okay, they have made a miscalculation since they are not of the brightest kind. I totally agree with that. For some reason, they think that the Russians will never cross a certain line. They are wrong. If it comes down to the existence of our state, which is what the Russians will determine, as the president of our country has repeatedly said, we will simply have no choice. See, these guys are the victims as well. Another bully boy, or a strong guy. All right, and the political class, I'm quoting Medvedev, the political class is degenerating. Technocrats are coming in and they cannot understand how politics function. This is a disaster. Well, what can you do, my friends? So they will... I think he's got the pulse of our leaders' ability, all right, which is way down. But that's how you lead. You have these baboons doing your thing, but under the coverage or protection of the office. So you can put a baboon in office of the presidency. He's still a baboon, but the presidency of the United States of America supposedly has power. So you had the example with our past 9 presidents. Go and check them out, how bright they were. Some were, some weren't. Well, right here, Medvedev, let me show you this right there. Again, from Russia Today, Medvedev warns the West-led rules-based order will collapse soon. And I'm quoting, so the more crisis they create, the better they think the situation is for America. It makes money from weapons, supplies, and by allocating money to its defense industry. He said, I totally agree with that. And again, I'm quoting Medvedev, the Americans are getting what they want at the price of more blood and casualties. This is why the Americans are engaging in feeding the war, but that system is coming to an end. And again, the authorities in Washington, and I'm quoting, feel the world is falling out from under their feet and they are resisting it in every way possible. It depends how far they're going to go with that. And we can use this one right here as an example. Small example. And I'm quoting again, I have certainly picked through the legal text and studied it. It is incomprehensible. This is the violating a rule-based order. Because Washington and its allies accuse the members of those groups of violating the rules-based order, but at the same time cannot explain what the order is, he said. I have carefully picked through the legal text and studied it. It is incomprehensible. It is not clear what the order is and who approved it. It is really just an idea of the US and its allies, while mostly in NATO, of how best to do business in the world. According to Medvedev, the rule-based order is actually what the West believes is right, adding that once you are out of this order, you are a perpetrator. I think this is accurate. I reach the same conclusion, and even worse than that. They can violate the world rule-based order whenever they want, but nobody else can. Why? Because we still have the power to implement sanctions, maybe a little regime change, I don't know, maybe some direct attacks. That's what it is. But we are the good ones. But who gave the right of one country to say this is the rules-based world order? Based on what? Remember the parking lot? Exactly. So let's move to the last topic of this video, which comes from Ttump himself. Russia Today. Trump promises to drive wedge between Russia and China. The US Republican presidential candidate has said he would unite the two superpowers if re-elected. And he said, and I'm quoting Trump, "We're a failing nation for reasons that you will not mention, Trump. You will not mention those." It's not what he tells you, we are a failed nation. No, he's not mentioning the real reasons why. We are a nation in very serious decline. All right, and he says here, look at what these stupid people have done. They allowed Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and others to get together in a group. He said, we unite them because of the oil. We united them because of the oil. Biden united them. No. It's a shame. He helped. We're losing the dollar, correct, as a standard because of these people. The standard in this case is just a ripoff. If we lose the dollars as the standard, that's like losing a war. Correct, President Trump, correct. So he's going to unite these guys, right? How? How? What do you have to offer? Those days of I'm gonna hurt you are gone, are almost gone. They're at 95% out of 100% gone. How are you gonna do it? Militarily, you can't. I have to be honest, my friends, we can't. The group over there is already strong enough. So militarily, we can't. The intelligence, those are not baboons either, okay? With what? Economically, BRICS is bigger than the G7. United States economy, China's economy. What do we produce? Sperm and cocks and balls after they snip them. What do we produce? Oh, we produce something in, I don't know, some chips, microchips. Okay. Do you think those guys are just picking flowers? They don't know what to do? They will pick up on that. Yes, we invented many things, or the Western world invented many things, but they're not, those guys are not, baboons or anything like that. You have to objectively assess the situation, and don't be afraid to look in the mirror and find where you made mistakes and change those things, turn them into strengths. You cooperate with the world. Those days of I'm going to show you if you don't do what I'm telling you, as I said, I think are 95% gone. But that's me. Maybe I'm not picking up the dynamics, but I don't think so. Why? Because the big predictions of what's going to happen next, I think for me, confirm that I'm on the right track. But I don't have to believe anybody, obviously. I don't ask you to trust me or anything like this. Verify. And if you find that I ever lie to you, or sometimes you assess certain things and you wait for them to occur. And many things occurred, as I said. It doesn't mean that I'm a guru. I think it's very easy. You know who's in charge. You know the dynamics. You look at the pattern from past historical events, and you kind of are able to understand what's going to be the next move in a certain circumstance. So yeah, he's not going to do anything. Do you think China all of a sudden is going to be, hey, America, thank you very much? No, we know, the Chinese, we know we are next. We're not friends, we are competitors. And if you want to turn that into enemies, so be it. We're almost there. I think the United States of America has to, like the Roman Empire, it expanded too much. That's its limits. And now it has to go back like a company who's losing money. It doesn't have profits anymore. Restructuring. That's what the United States needs. But they're not going to recognize this. Why? How can you have a paranoid person, or let's say a narcissist, realize all of a sudden, wait a minute, I'm a narcissist, and you know what? I should talk to people. I should be more understanding. No, when you've been used most of your existence, or at least a recent existence, the last 80 years at least, punching everybody around and being the big shot, which is true. How do you think that's going to change to a more understanding? You will be made to be like that, to behave. How? With power, with strength. And the other guys are getting stronger and stronger. What do? Well, by the way, my pronouns are chip, chop, chop, keep, cup, chop, chop, chop. These are my pronouns. And I identify as a blah, 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 blah. This is what we've been doing. Good job. While those guys were making millions, billions, stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.